I do want to go into the weeds of the Ottawa trucker protest because I might have been the only one of us. Did you cover them? So I think I might have been the only one of us who was at the Ottawa trucker protest.
Glad to hear it.
And you know, I'm the kind of one of the liberal columnists at the Times.
Congratulations.
I showed up at the Ottawa trucker protest kind of expecting the sort of things that I've seen at Donald Trump rallies, at various even further right events.
Wait for it.
And didn't find it.
Oh, okay, that's fair.
I was really quite astonished. I think that it's been pretty conclusively shown that the organizers of this protest were people on the far right, were people with very kind of unsavory and sometimes racist ideas. But what really shocked me walking around talking
they're
totally politically disconnected. I remember getting into a truck with someone saying, "What inspired you to come here?"
Mushrooms.
Mushrooms.
They were all just druggies.
He was tripping, and he had this desire to get in his car and drive. You know, but there was a lot of people who were just traumatized. They were lonely. They were so happy to suddenly be surrounded by people after having.
I'm going to let it play out, and then we're going to talk about this.
Other. People were hugging me, even though I'm from the hated mainstream media, and I told my editors that this is what I found, and they said, "Great. That's more interesting than what we thought you were going to find." It was more interesing. And I wrote it, and they devoted an entire page to it.
An entire page. One whole page.
I didn't follow every single bit of reporting on it in the Canadian media, but I do think...
Do we all appreciate the underhanded minimization? The subtle tactics of minimizing fault. I didn't follow all of mainstream media. Sorry, we're going to pick this apart and then some in a few seconds.
That having the ethos of wanting to be surprised and being willing to be surprised.
Or just being unable to affirm a lie to that degree. But she still nonetheless slipped in at least 3 lies in this entire diatribe as to how objective she was or is
something that you are more likely to find in, the New York Times, in the Washington Post, in people who write, in the New Yorker, than it is with people who do write for some of these contrarian alternatives to the mainstream media. And they really do start with a story that they a story that they intend to tell, often a story about the mistakes and dishonesties of the mainstream media. But
because the opposite of mainstream, legitimate, trustworthy is contrarian. We're going to look up the word contrarian in a second.
The truth is much more complicated than
that. Her name is Michelle. Hold on. My goodness. I watched this entire debate because I saw highlights that Matt Taibbi put out, and I was like, it can't be. Michelle Goldberg in Brooklyn. I'm not trying to pick on anybody. Malcolm Gladwell. Douglas Murray. I've never seen Douglas Murray before, but he killed it in that debate. So let me bring this out, but not take it down, because I want to come back to this in a second. First of all, good evening. I missed everybody yesterday. Yesterday, I said I was going to do a vlog and not a live stream. It took me the whole day it took me about 3 to 4 hours to edit this vlog together, not including shooting the content. It took me about 3 hours to edit a day in the life of Viva Frei, a response to Lex Friedman's A Day in the Life. It was funny. We're going to watch it as the video to play us out tonight. But I said I'm going to do an old school video. 6 minutes, took the better part of the day. And I was too tired to do a stream. And I had to catch up on the news that I didn't see. Proving a point to myself yet again. But I saw Matt Taibbi put out some highlights. It was a supercut of Malcolm Gladwell. There's pleading the fifth, and then there's pleading the whitey. Malcolm Gladwell pleading the white cis male sous-entendre of racism. To Matt Taibbi, I don't actually know of Matt Taibbi's origins, now that I say it out loud. Taibbi could be a Middle Eastern name. It could also be a Moroccan Jewish name. I'm going to look it up in a second. But Malcolm Gladwell playing the race card and the gender card hard. Hurry hard. That's a curling joke. And I said, I have to go see this debate. Like, it couldn't have been this bad. Put it this way. I'm driving back from the Deerfield Pier today with my kid in the back, and he knows he wanted to take a nap. And he said, Dad, can you put on that book that you have on your phone that always puts us to sleep? And it's John Ronson's, I'm listening to them now. I haven't finished it yet. And I said, dude, I'll get you something else that's going to put you to sleep. And I put this debate on. Holy cows. A debacle. The debate was supposed to be it resolved, you can't trust mainstream media. And the arguments made by the side you can trust the mainstream media, happen to be two mainstream media types, so it's more of a self-defense than a defense of a position, which I think falsifies the debate. Oh my, it was a flipping train wreck. It was an absolute train wreck. But I want to bring this one back up so I can close it. Mainstream media patting themselves on the back because at least Michelle Goldberg actually went to the Ottawa protest instead of just regurgitating the lies of Canadian media, and yet still somehow finds a way to regurgitate lies.
I do want to go into the weeds of the Ottawa trucker protest because I might have been the only one of us. Did you cover them?
Good for you. Did you cover them?
So I think I might have been the only one of us who was at the Ottawa trucker protest.
I was there, Michelle. Good for you. Good for you. Right.
And I'm the kind of one of the liberal columnists at the Times. I've covered the far right. I showed up at the Ottawa trucker protest.
You see what she's doing? But this is called persuasion, by the way. I've covered the far right. I showed up at the protest expecting it to be as bad as a Trump. It wasn't. Sure, there were racists and
kind of expecting the sort of things that I've seen at Donald Trump rallies, at various even further right events.
What sort of racist things have we seen at a Donald Trump rally? I'm actually genuinely curious now. What sort of racist things did she see black men with MAGA hats at Trump rallies? I've seen Trump rallies, the far right, and I've seen worse than that. Let's go on.
And didn't find it. I was really quite astonished. I think
these little pets, they're quite good, but I was quite astonished. But
I think that it's been pretty conclusively shown that the organizers of this protest were people on the far right, were people with very kind of unsavory and sometimes racist ideas.
Oh my God! If I were there, I would have busted a retort. I would have busted a rebuttal in Michelle's face. Oh, I'm sorry. It's been shown that the organizers, what does she say here?
This protest were people on the far right.
Tamara Litch, the only bona fide organizer, is a Métis woman from Red Deer, Alberta. She might not be from Red Deer. She's from Alberta. Let me just play it again for you.
It's been pretty conclusively shown that the organizers of this protest were people on the far right, were people with very kind of unsavory and sometimes racist ideas.
Tamara Litch, organizer number one, a Métis woman. Ben Dichter, organizer number two. I only know that he's gay because he said it. A gay Jew. I think she might be referring to Pat King, who had no role in organizing this. She might be referring to Jeremy McKenzie, and I'll take issue with Jeremy McKenzie being far-right racist. There are many black people, many women who are members of the community. Oh, but it's been definitively established, says the fake news media in defense of the fact that they are trustworthy. Liars.
But what really shocked me walking around and talking to people was how many people were just either totally politically disconnected. I remember getting into a trial.
But not politically disinterested, politically disconnected, both of which would have been lies, by the way. The people there were not politically disconnected. That's why they were there, because they were politically connected, or at least politically involved. But they're politically disconnected. As though these people are slack-jawed yokels. They don't know what the hell they're doing there. Oh, and what's the further evidence? One person I talked to was on mushrooms, allegedly.
Talk with someone saying, "What inspired you to come here?"
No, man, I don't know. I just took some shrooms and I decided to drive across the country to protest constitutional rights. Oh, you got it all figured out, Michelle.
And he said, mushrooms.
I'm done. I'm liars. Or we're going to go through a few more highlights. Liars. In defense of the fake news spews more fake news. Liars. I'm seeing here, Nature Lover Freedom says, Taibbi is Polynesian. From John Sarian on Rumble. And Nature Lover says Lebanese origin, maybe. Well, I'm going to Google that in a second. So this debate, go watch it because it's a masterclass in how not to debate. The British guy, and I'm just saying the British guy because I can't remember his name, Douglas Murray. Sorry, I never knew him. Stole the show. Taibbi is very good substantively. Gladwell opened his mouth, stuffed both of his feet in, and then choked on them, metaphorically speaking. And Goldberg, her delivery was actually kind of good, but substantively rubbish. Uh-oh. Nature, lover, freedom. I don't know. I don't know if that chat was free. So hold on. Let me just make sure they're all live here. Everything's good. We're going to go through a few more highlights of this. That was one highlight. Malcolm Gladwell. Look, I have never read Outliers. I know enough about the book to know about it. I have not read, which one was it? The 10,000 Hours book. I think that's Outliers. I like principles. I don't care to read books. I just want to know what they say. So if I can hear them, all the better. Malcolm Gladwell, I think he has done damage to his reputation. Here is the highlight that Matt Taibbi put out, the supercut. Gladwell has done damage to his reputation as a scholar, as an intellectual, as a journalist. I feel part of me feels bad because he's still a human. He's got to look at this, and if he has the slightest bit of introspection and honesty, say, yeah, I really screwed up. Like the time when Ben Shapiro walked off of an interview, knew that he got embarrassed and, admitted to it later. But
my question was, what would make them happy? So what would restore the trust of Matt and Doug in the mainstream media? And I think with Matt, the answer is obvious. He would like, if the world resembled 1955 again, that would fill him with joy. Doug would like more stories on the Hunter Biden laptop.
4 times you're going to play the race
but more
card?
seriously,
Really?
Oh, sorry. That was my one of the snippets that I took from Matt Taibbi's. In defense of the media not being fake news, Malcolm Gladwell said people were obsessed. They were overly obsessed with the Hunter Biden laptop story. I mean, can you imagine being that disingenuous in the assessment? The media, in order to argue for their trustworthiness, says that there was an obsession, an unhealthy obsession, a fixation on the Hunter Biden. It's only the biggest as far as I'm concerned, I might be blowing it out of proportion. I have that degree of introspection that maybe it means more to me than it does to others. Maybe I think it means more to the world than people would think it actually does. I think it is not the black pill. It is the biggest red pill, suppository, involuntary red pill for a great many people. I think it's the biggest. I wasn't alive during Watergate, but if Watergate, from what I understand, this is exponentially more devastating and important, politically important than Watergate. It's more, the scandal is light years more serious than Watergate. And now we got Malcolm Gladwell in defense of media being trustworthy, saying it's overblown. Listen to this one. Listen to this highlight.
Do you guys remember butthurt emails? I mean, does anybody remember the completely outsized attention paid to Hillary Clinton's information security protocols in the run-up to the 2016 election? I mean, this was on the front page of the New York Times.
It was.
Constantly.
It
this
was
just an absolute drumbeat that the most important thing
it
in
was.
the 2016 election was Hillary Clinton having a private email server.
Stop. Liar. It wasn't Hillary Clinton having a private server. Liar. It was, I guess, if I'm in a debate, I would not call my interlocutor a liar like that, but it wasn't the private server. It was the fact that she lied about it. It was the fact that she tried to wipe it clean, smashed cell phones with hammers, lied about not having classified information. It wasn't the private servers. It was the lies, the scandalous cover-up, also the servers, because there was a reason why it was offline, so to speak. But liar.
Always benefit Democrats and work against Republicans is simply not the case. Again, I apologize for making this so, kind of America-centric.
Because they were in Canada.
Say, BuzzFeed published the Steele dossier after the 2016 election.
We can stop it there. Appreciate what she just said. Mainstream media is trustworthy because in 2016 they ran the story about Hillary's emails a lot. I mean, they did. I remember watching that show Blackish, and it was the most tacky, out of place joke. But they're playing Monopoly, and the dad starts losing to the kids, and he throws the board over, and he goes, "But Hillary's emails." It became a meme. But there are a lot of people, Hillary Clinton included, who blamed her 2016 loss on the obsession that the media had with the emails or the reporting that was placed on the emails. There were a lot of people who blamed her loss on that. So what Michelle thinks is an example, an illustration of integrity, is actually the perfect illustration of the lack of integrity, because the media might have learned from 2016. If we put too much attention on it, even if it's to, put it under the rug, they focused on Hillary's emails, but they were emphasizing the defenses. It's not a big deal. No classified information. Everybody does it. No big. They learned their lesson from 2016. So much so that the decision was not to focus on the Hunter Biden laptop story, but to try to sweep it under the rug. No big deal that the president's son or the potential president's son smoking crack, giving foot jobs to potential underage hookers, 10% for the big. No, they can't sweep that under the rug. And so they actually learned from their mistake in 2016. Ignore it entirely. How do you do that? Get intelligence to come in and suggest that social media censor it. Make bloody well sure nobody talks about that story. So congratulations, Michelle. You played yourself. Well, I think there was nothing left in this one anyhow.
But it was floating around before then, and people didn't report on it because they couldn't verify any of it. So again, I just think the media...
They couldn't verify any of it, and yet somehow it found its way before a secret FISA court judge for the renewal of an unlawful spy warrant that the media never really picked up on. How many stories on Kleinsmith? FBI lawyer falsifying evidence to obtain unlawful spy warrant renewals effectively on a president. How much on that? No. And yeah, I'm belaboring the point. This was a disaster of a debate. Gladwell looked like the buffoon playing the race card, and it was great. It's fun to watch. I don't know what you have to do to get invited to a Monk debate. I would crush it. I know my skills and I know my weaknesses, or my strengths and my weaknesses. I would crush it. My weakness might be, it was the difficulty of being a lawyer. I had to keep my mouth shut until it was my turn to talk, and that's very, very difficult for me, especially when you know what people are going to say before they say it. That's one of my weaknesses. But I would crush the debate. Okay, I got one Rumble rant from Pamela R. Walker. Pamela R. Walker. Good to see you again. How ridiculous. Over obsessed with the laptop, it virtually proves treasonous, dirty deals. And I actually think treasonous might be contextually appropriate of an accusation right here. In YouTube, there were a couple of super chats. Oh, why does salt have to be white? That wasn't a super chat. Salt doesn't have to be white. There's pink salt. But I think someone might have already responded to that. There's dark colored salt as well if they don't purify it. But it's a weird thing. Like sugar, brown sugar is just natural color, and then they purify it to be white. Some will say it's the patriarchy that did that. William Schwant says, my brother was poisoned by fentanyl. The sentencing just happened and he ran. The rest of the story on my Substack. Bill Schwant won. Dude, Bill, you look so... Okay, I thought that was someone else. You look like someone I know in the avatar. William Schwant. So everyone check that out. I've never met William Schwant before. This is not an endorsement. Substack, Bill Schwant 1. Thank you for the super chat. No legal advice, no medical advice, no election fortification advice. Oh my goodness. Am I live? Again, Twitter files for January 7 just dropped. Well, we're gonna... Is there any more of that debate? Let me just go to my notes. So watch with that. And the tough thing is I'm watching this debate. It's always easy to be cool and slick and know exactly what you'd say from home or from the car when you're listening, and then you have to remember the timestamp so you can go and the debate was a debacle. it was an absolute smearing of Gladwell and Goldberg. And the problem was, I mean, they were not defending a media; they were defending themselves, and that impacts the way people can argue. It impacts people's personal levels of involvement in a debate. Okay, everybody, how's everybody doing? Saturday night, my kids are watching there's a street movie thingy thing, and I spent the day with my kid fishing on the pier. We caught a lot of goggle eyes, like these little bait fish. Did not catch any big fish to eat for dinner. Had a good afternoon, but I think I spent enough time now that I wanted to go live. When I don't go live for a day, it's not that I miss talking to people, which I do. It's also that, like, I feel like Homer Simpson when he says, like, every time I learn something new, it pushes something old out of my head. Like the time I took that wine tasting course and forgot how to drive. The amount of news that's going on, it's like I'm going to forget, even with my Twitter diary, I'm going to forget stuff. Kimberly Geiger, just because I love you and your family, I am always praying for you. Thank you very much. I like that. But then when people pray for me, it makes me think that am I at risk? I'll tell you who might. I don't want to say because I don't like putting the juju out in the universe. Elon Musk. Whether you like him or hate him, whether or not you think he's up to cataclysmic no goodness with his Neuralink, whatever it is. Holy shit. Is he actually tweeted out today, and this is going to segue from the defense of fake news. No defense at all. I could have done a better job defending fake news. I could have done it. I could do it. I don't want to do it, but I could have done it. I could have defended MSM better than Gladwell and Goldberg. Keep looking out for the FBI. Dude, if the FBI were coming, the FBI would have already come. How's my boo-boo belly? Well, I'll tell you what, it's better. I think I know what might have caused a problem. I've subsequently kicked that part out of my diet. I was going hard on kombucha, like a bottle a day, because I thought with 7 billion organic particles in I thought it'd be good for my gut. Might not have been good for my gut. So I think I figured that out, and I've worked that out. Heart Tackle in the house. Thank you very much. Heart Tackle makes American-made bait and tackle, not bait and tackle, I'm an idiot, tackle for bass and Florida stuff. Hold on. Okay. Viva Frei tweeted praise for Justin Trudeau. Well, unfortunately, I'm not blocking this because it offends me. I'm blocking this because it's a bot, and they started spamming. Should I be? Hold on a second. Let me go to Twitter and just see what's going on. I didn't realize that this is live as we speak. Give me a second. I've got all my stuff lined up here. What's going on? Okay, so I don't see anything yet in the chat. Tell me what's going on. But Elon Musk is revealing. It's an amazing thing. The harder you'll notice this, because it applies mutatis mutandis to Ukraine, mutatis mutandis to Griner, mutatis mutandis to Elon. The harder one side tries to downplay, tries to minimize, tries to sweep under the rug, the more serious you know that it is. So Elon last night had it's so cool, a Twitter hangout. You're just sitting on listening to a conference call with the CEO of the owner of Twitter. The most not that wealth means anything more than wealth, just the richest man on earth who owns Twitter, the owner of Tesla, listening to him engage with. Last night was Eliza Blue and a couple of others who I it's not to be disrespectful, I just don't know their names. Now I realize I'm wearing my shirt that's going to show sweat again. Damn it! And they're talking about child sexual content on Twitter. Elon has bought a crime scene. I have now been corrected. It's not Jack Posobiec who said it first. Apparently, it might have been Steve Bannon, but someone else might have said it before Steve Bannon. He's bought a crime scene, and he's not covering it up. He is pulling up the sheets. He's lifting up the white blankets. He's opening the front door so that everybody can come in and see what happened. And it's absolutely unbelievable. I can't think of another word, and I hate the word unbelievable. Now, before we get into it and before we get into the rest of the stuff, I'm going to share the link to Rumble because we're going to move it over to Rumble. Not because we can't talk about it on YouTube, but because I choose and have chosen to align myself with Rumble, a company that actually supports free speech. And I'm going to read some of the Rumble rants there while everyone trickles in. Then I'm going to close this down on YouTube, and we're going to go exclusive to Rumble. Nicotine Bill says, schwantsubstack.com. In the sentencing for my brother's fentanyl poisoning, the defendant ran. Schwant.substack.com. The rest of the story. Thanks, Viva. Schwant, thank you. Tropical Rocket says, I meant buy local. $5 Rumble rant, which I imagine means... Oh, here we go. Tropical Rocket says, t-shirt, vote local. It works better than voting. I meant buy local. Okay, fine. Thank you. And then we got a couple more of those. So you are paid to use Rumble, says not a Russian bot. I have negotiated an exclusivity with Rumble because I choose to support this platform. I was paid to use YouTube as well. At some point, we have to take our risks because nothing is guaranteed. Despite what people think, we have to take our risks, take our chances, and support the platform that supports free speech, which Rumble does, and which YouTube is doing now. Not YouTube, I'm sorry, and Twitter is doing now. So everybody, I'm going to wind it down on YouTube. The link is there. I'll post it one more time. And let's do this. Make sure I didn't forget anything here. I just saw something about a barracuda. There are no pike in Florida, but there's barracuda. And you can eat the barracuda because they're not reef barracuda, so they don't have toxic levels of poisons in them. Okay, let's do this. Ending it on the YouTubes. We've got 1939 people left. What an odd number that should be. 1939. Okay, no. I'm going to end it on YouTube. We're going to go over to Rumble exclusively. And I got a ton of footnotes to go over. And we're going to start with Elon Musk conference call yesterday talking about child sex content on Twitter. And we're going to, and the employees who resign. And they put out a letter specifying the basis of their resignation. And I read that letter and I said, to me, it sounds like you quit before you could get fired. Because if you were in charge of safety and security, you failed. You done failed. Okay, we're moving from YouTube, going over to Rumble. 3, 2, 1.